Hey guys, Chef V here, and for those of you if we have not met or uh, our path haven't crossed yet, I'm the founder of Indulge Right Foods on a mission to end the obesity pandemic. We specialize in flavorful, nutritious, natural, sugar-free, and allergen-free products. And in today's video, I want to share with you a quick 3 steps, simple, easy, cold fill, sugar-free pecan pie. Now, what do I mean by a cold fill? First of all, you don't have to bake it ultimately, and you just need 3 items. So what do you need? A pie shell that you need to bake according to the manufacturer's specifications. You need obviously pecans, because without it, you won't be having pecan pie. And I'm just gonna rotate the camera here. So I have about 8 ounces of pecan pie or pecans that I just grossly chopped up. And I baked the pecan shell or the pie shell according to the manufacturer's specifications. So it's about 10 minutes or so at 400. And what you need is basically a jar of my caramel sauce. So simple as that. So you empty the content of that jar in a small saucepan and bring it to a boil for about a minute. So I brought this to a boil already while we're chatting, and all you do is just dump in the pecans, bring it back on, give it another about 30 seconds or so just to coat it nicely and to make sure you've got the whole thing nicely distributed. And you just want to let it sit and cool off for about a minute or two. So really the whole thing should take you about, I don't know, 5 minutes of active time, if you're not counting just the time to bake the pie and the time that you're going to let it sit for a few seconds. And literally this is all you have to do. You got all the flavors that you need in that sauce. Again, this is sugar free, and it should not spike your insulin levels. Now, there are many other options, and that's it. This is all you gotta do. I'll thicken up a bit, put it on the side, give it a few seconds, and I'm just gonna turn the camera, and what you're gonna end up with basically is this in here. So as you can see, it's pretty dense. We've got quite a bit of caramel. Now it's not exactly the same as classic pie, but again, it's sugar-free and it's a great alternative. It tastes probably richer than regular pie or regular pecan pie. Nonetheless, it has also a huge amount of fiber, and that's basically what we specialize in. You got probably about a good 7 to 10 grams of fiber if you include the nuts in there without the carb load. Now, obviously you got carbs in the nuts as well, but what I'm talking about, the sugar carb loads or from simple carbs. You have another option here. You could obviously eliminate the pie shell if you don't want to have the carbs from the shells. I think it's a minute with the amount of fiber that you're going to have per serving. I don't think you need to sacrifice that, and that's the whole purpose of our existence as a company, is to eliminate deprivation and sacrificing either flavor or texture or that fulfilling flavor and taste, if you would, right? And you don't want to feel deprived because you are trying to eat healthy, or you're diabetic, or you're trying to lose weight, or just simply because you want to limit the amount of carbs you're eating. So that's that. I'm just going to turn it back real quickly in here. Once again, I'll just, like you've seen, it's been a couple seconds, and then you just dump it in there. I got to put this down. Hold a second here. Flip it and put it down so you can see it. That might work actually. So just dump it in. Make sure you got all of it out. You got some goodness in there. You don't want to waste it. And just even it out a bit so that it's distributed properly. And that's it. And you let it sit. And you end up there. All right, let it sit in the fridge. Let it cool off first outside a bit. And then refrigerate it. So there's a couple of variations. As you can see, I did not add anything else to it, right? You could add bourbon if you want to make it a pecan bourbon pie. You could add some orange zest or orange liqueur if that's what you want to do. You could serve it with some whipped cream. So the potentials are limitless. Like I said, you could do it crustless as well. You could top it off with some bitter chocolate that you melt and just spread it on it. Make sure that's a thin layer, because otherwise you get quite a bit of punch of bitterness that you won't like. So here's the deal. That's 9-inch pie shell or pie. That will give you, unlike the regular pie, this is very rich. It'll give you probably a good dozen of servings. So like literally I would make this as serving, and here's why. Now that's not much. Most people think like, well, that's a skimpy serving, but that is very rich and has a lot of fiber. It's got a good amount of fat as well. So ultimately it will help you from inside out, not just satisfy you. So you're not just eating dessert. In this case, you're actually using real food as medicine, literally. So with the amount of fiber and the amount of fat, what you're gonna get is, first of all, you're gonna get fulfilled. So most people will not be able to eat more than that. You're gonna get fulfilled. You're gonna have that sugary cravings, that dessert flavored or dessert cravings fulfilled. You've got, like I said, you've got quite a bit of fiber in that between the amount of the caramel. Now, our caramel has about 10 grams of fiber per serving. That's pretty much unheard of, right? That's almost about eating a whole head of avocado, all right? Or whole avocado or a whole head of cauliflower. So there's quite a bit in there. Plus add a couple of grams of fiber from the pecans. So per serving, you're looking at about probably good 8 to 10 grams of fiber, right? So that will fulfill you. That will slow down digestion. That will also, with a prebiotic inulin that we use, it will also help you from inside out, rebuilding your gut bacteria, giving you, literally turning this into a medicine, if you would, that's based on real food. So that's what you got. Again, 3 items. The cost, if you split it into 12 pieces, even if you do about 10 pieces, it's about $2, the whole thing, with everything that you need. If you don't want to make it as thick, as you can see, it's almost a full pie. If a tart, you'll probably be able to get 2 tarts out of this. So tarts are a little thinner. Top it up with some chocolate, and you've got a gourmet tart. So, and that'll break it down to less than $1.50, probably less than that per serving. So I think that's a deal for something that it's gonna support you rather than surge your insulins and then crash you and the whole thing. Again, that's something, if you give it to the kids, they're not gonna bounce off the walls, right? So literally, you could have the cake and eat it too. I can't wait for you to try it. I'd like to hear your feedback and what you think about it. Share comments below. Once you try them, if you have any questions, again, feel free to ask. I'll reply back, whether it's below this video, wherever you're seeing it. Just tag us, Indulge Right Foods. And I will get back to you on that if you have any questions. So, once again, this is Chef V, founder of Indulge Right Foods, with one of our first recipes of sugar-free pecan pies. I will share other recipes shortly, so you could use them in multiple ways and enjoy it. Thanks.